Happy Pirate Wednesdays, everybody. My name is Alex.
I'm Esther.
I'm Juji.
And I'm Elijah.
And we're here to remind you what day it is.
So, as we often do, I'm going to start this week off with one of our classic and pretty much a regular segment on this show. A segment called New This Week. Per chance that we actually have more than 2 listeners, or one of those 2 being a new one, New This Week is a segment where we all talk about one thing this past week that we did that was new, or something that we learned this past week that was new. Does anyone have anything they'd like to start off with?
New this week?
Yep.
I have something.
Okay, cool.
All right.
So yesterday I went to a wedding.
Nice.
Oh, I saw the
and
pictures.
It was a really fancy wedding. It was in, the wedding itself was in a chapel, so it wasn't a big thing. But the reception was crazy. It was at this mansion, I think, in Warwick, which is, kind of random because you wouldn't really think of mansions. But, there's random mansions around Rhode Island. And, yeah, so they have, people, rented out for events and stuff. But it's just this big mansion, and then there's this huge marble staircase that leads to these suites upstairs, and it's very ideal for weddings. And then in the back there's this staircase that leads into this open grass and field that overlooks the water, and it's really, really pretty. And they kind of outdid themselves at this wedding because everything looked great. It was very everything was well designed and stuff, but they had this room, they had open bar, and they had it in this library, so it's just this big library with those those old little staircases that you used to climb onto multiple shelves.
Yeah.
The ones on the racks that slide back and forth?
Yeah. So it was very vintage, and they had this bar set up, and it was an open bar, so people who were drinking could order any amounts of drinks that they wanted, and it was set up in this beautiful library. And then there's these tables off to these rooms off to the sides that were decorated for seating and stuff. And then after dinner, and after the whole the whole cake thing,
Yeah.
when the bride and the groom, they eat that piece of cake or whatever, and then they announced everyone, or they told everyone to go into the dessert room. And so all of a sudden they opened up the doors to this room that no one had been in yet, and it was there was this huge table that kind of went from one end to the other end, and it was filled with all different kinds of cakes.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
row and row and row after.
How many people were at this wedding?
Honestly, it was less than 200.
Yeah.
That's pretty average, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, it was one something mid. I don't know, 120 to 150 or something. But yeah, that was crazy. I've never seen it I've never seen a wedding that extravagant before. But of course, it was really expensive, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
What town was this in?
Warwick.
Oh, in Warwick.
I think, yeah.
Sounds like a cool spot.
Yeah, it does. That sounds beautiful, actually. So who was getting married?
Sam's brother.
Oh, wow. So you went all out.
Yeah. He's a type.
Is he older than Sam?
Yeah, by 3 years, I think. 2 or
Okay,
3.
so he's my age, more or less.
Yeah, he's I think he's 26, 25.
Okay, so around my age,
Yeah,
a little
he's
bit
your
younger.
age.
Yeah.
I felt I don't know, I felt it wasn't fancy enough to be there. It was so weird. Because even everyone looked good too. Because I don't know, I just feel I've gone to so many family-oriented weddings where people just kind of, wore what they wanted. There's kids running around and stuff. But even all the kids at this wedding were dressed very nicely. And just everyone was subtly attractive and like dressed well. So it was just different to like be in like around a bunch of like new people, but also in an environment where everything is just very well put together.
Huh. Well, I saw the pictures of you in your power suit, and I can definitely vouch for the fact that you looked quite nice for this wedding, so I don't think you were underdressed at all.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, that was a nice suit. I got to try it on. The pants were too long.
Did you rent it? Is that what you got? You did?
No, I got the suit from Sam's mom had a friend who buys a lot of like sort of I guess more expensive clothing or whatever. Like she really likes dressing up, and she was getting rid of a bunch of stuff, and she's really, really tiny, so Sam's mom is thin, but she couldn't fit into any of the clothes, so she was like, "Oh, Esther, you should try this suit on. It might look good on you for the wedding." So yeah, I tried it on, and at first, so the jacket was a perfect fit, and the pants were a little too tight. So we brought them to a seamstress, and she kind of worked with the seams a little bit and made them a little bit bigger for me, and then they fit perfect.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's your first tailoring experience then, I assume,
I
right?
know. I was like, oh. Well,
cool.
honestly, it wasn't like, oh, like measuring like my
No.
pant leg or something. I literally put the pants on, and I was like, it's too tight around the crotch, and she was like, okay, I'll fix that.
All right, so what about you, Alex? Anything new this week? I think you mentioned something before we started recording.
Oh, well,
I don't know if you want that to be
okay, I witnessed it. I didn't really do anything, but I got some big news about the camp. Is one of the things we were kind of nervous about was the septic, because we had no idea what condition it was in and what was down there at all. So this week, actually, I have to say, at the beginning of the week, I had no idea that this was going to happen. And I was kind of stressing about like getting it done before winter. And there's a guy that lives in town who does this kind of work, and he was going to give us a really good price on doing the whole system, like just fix it up and everything and do what needs to be done and do it like really cheap. So I was like waiting on him, but it's so funny, this guy, he's like, he doesn't have like an office because he's just like that guy that everybody knows in town.
And
And
I think you told me about this guy at one point.
Yeah, so it's like, so you don't really, like, you can call him, but he's never home because he's always doing another project.
Yeah.
So, and again, he doesn't have an office, so it's like you can never get a hold of him. But this is like, that's how the small town sort of works. So the only way you can get a hold of him is if, like, say you drove by where his house is and he just happens to be outside, or like, or he drives by you and he stops and talks, and he just loves to talk. This guy's like such a character. Like, he's so like, he's just like, I don't know. You'd have to meet him to understand fully, but like, he is a character. You know what I mean? He's like, he's kind of rugged. He's an older type, super friendly though, and he's always like got chewing tobacco, so he's always kind of sort of spitting and stuff, but super like down to earth guy, just like awesome guy. So what ended up happening is the beginning of the week, actually I think I was talking to Juji maybe on the phone or about the computer or something like that, and then he drove by and I was like, Juji, I gotta call you back, because I was like waiting.
That's why.
Yeah, I was waiting on this guy. I was like, because I didn't like, we had talked, he came over, he's like, well, you know, once we dig it up, we'll see what we can do and stuff. And but that was like weeks ago, so I was like, ah, shit, like I need to get a hold of him before winter. I didn't know like when his business sort of stops, because he does a lot of the digging stuff. He's got like a lot of the equipment to do that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But no, he when he drove by, he's like, yeah, let me come by, like, you know, let me come by Wednesday or whatnot, and I'll come check it out. So friggin' like Wednesday, he came up and dug up our old septic and everything, and we were having some issues. Like, we were it was starting to get to the point where it was plugged up.
Yeah, you were telling us last week that you were washing some towels in the
creek.
creek, and there was a frog.
Yeah, frog mating calls and everything.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
Along the side of frog mating calls, TJ came up this weekend, and I told him about that.
Oh god.
And we tried it again, and I don't know. I mean, it could have just been pure coincidence, but like like a toad like appeared out of like the side of the thing again. He didn't make any noises, but it did appear. So I'm still
man.
convinced that is like a calling. It's for them or something like that. But anyway, so to get to the end of the story here is that he came by Wednesday. He dug it up. It was just this like really thin, like still held its shape, but like very rotted, like metal like cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Basically holding all the solids, and just a really bad setup. Like he dug it up one day, then the next day, actually no, then it was like a day after. So it was like the second day after he dug it up, he came back to take it out because he had to get a guy to come, like a septic guy to come and like vacuum it all out to just sort of like get rid of most of the junk. But after he did that, oh my God, like that day, like when he was trying to take it out, he like touched it with his like little, like he had like a little digger, and he like touched the side of it, and it just like fell apart. And it was just like, oh God, thank God we're like doing this now. Like I can't imagine even waiting like another year. You know what I mean? It was just like that bad. So, but he got it out of there, and he put in a new plastic one, which means that's going to last for like thousands of years because, you know, plastic works. But, you know, he like hooked it all up and stuff like that. We ended up getting, if, I don't know, this is kind of getting to the nitty gritty, but there's what they do. The important part with like a septic is that you have water drainage. Mm-hmm. And so what people do is they'll create what's called like a leaching field. Yeah. And it basically is just like a tube with like holes in it that allows for the water to drain out down the tube, but then kind of seep down into the ground again. Because like all water, even if it is like gray or like dirty septic water, once it's drained through the rock and through the sediment of the earth, it gets cleaned out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
so by then it's not like all the really kind of bad stuff about that can be kind of brought back into the water system, and you're not going to like get sick or anything if you drink it, kind of thing. So he basically had to set one of those up. We literally had nothing. Like there was I guess back in the day they used to just take cinder blocks, set them on their side, and then make like a little like chamber out of them underground. And it was basically like they called it a cesspool, but that's basically what it was. It was just like all the water from the septic that just like couldn't fit into the septic would flow out into this little pool, which would just be your piss and your shit. Well, not your piss and shit, but just your piss and like gray water just sitting in this pit that would slowly kind of perforate outside of the cinder blocks, but it's not really as effective as the stuff they have these days. Like that's what they used to do like 50, 60 years ago, but nowadays, we have way better ways of like doing that. So he set us up with like pretty much what people do nowadays, and the yard's a little dug up at the moment, but it's gonna be really nice. And next time we have a party, we don't have to worry about. Oh yeah, totally. I mean, we can have a party up there now and not have to worry about getting like a porta-john or anything, and totally just like everybody could take a shower. It wouldn't matter. The water, the system would be able to hold it all. You know what I mean?
That's fantastic.
So
nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very excited about that. So, that just kind of like there's a few check marks I want to get before the winter. That was one of them. The other thing is probably fixing up the driveway. Yeah. And this guy Jeff, who does the septic, he says he's got a digger and a landscaper and all that. He's gonna try to do the other thing too, and try to kind of put the bill together into one and try to make it so it works for us. He's just such an awesome guy. Like he even said to me the other day, he said like oh, if you can't pay in one chunk, you can pay in installments, whatever you can do. Like, but it's so unofficial that it's like it's not like he would give me like a document saying like, oh, like make this payment once a month kind of thing. Like it's literally like whatever I can afford at the moment. Like that's how nonchalant and stuff. And it was just so nice. And I told him that I said this is the kind of service and stuff that you wouldn't really find in Rhode Island, especially for this like higher up stuff. Like, I mean, there's a lot more codes and stuff when you're closer to the city, but it's just that kind of like friendly like service where you know what I mean. People just kind of do like above and beyond for you. You know what I mean, without even like asking for it. or even paying for it. Like I mean, it's not like I even paid half up front or anything. He just went and dug up my yard, and you know what I mean. So that was sort of my cool story for the week, and yeah.
Very cool. Given that that's also a third of my property, it's it's good to find out that
Yeah.
that happened.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tell David.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Let's see. So what about you, Juge? Anything new you learned or did this week?
I guess this week I listened to pirate metal and I dyed my hair black.
Yeah, I saw the dyed hair black. What
I
pirate
knew
metal
you.
bands? Because I've heard some pirate metal. I haven't heard any in years.
Have you heard Ailstorm?
Yes. Oh my God,
Yes.
I haven't heard them since high school. But yeah.
It was Talk Like a Pirate Day, and my friends and I were listening to some sea shanties, and then
Yep.
I remembered pirate metal existed, so I decided to look that up and then just listen to some of their songs.
Yeah, there's a couple of genres out there that just make me happy that they exist, and one of which
Yeah.
is pirate metal. Another one would be
And then I saw-
gypsy punk.
There was a ukulele and like maybe a couple of their music videos, and I was like, I wonder if I could just join a pirate metal band with my ukulele.
Ah, yes, Jude, you are so metal.
Well, now with your black hair, I
True,
mean,
fair
it all
enough.
seems like it's
It
coming
would be
to a
funny.
forefront here.
So I'm pretty sure I know why your hair is black. I don't know if you mentioned it in the podcast. Maybe you did
No.
with your teacher and the whole vampire
Oh.
thing. But
Oh,
you might as well explain.
Oh yeah, no, I've dyed my hair black for the Halloween season, and
Just for the whole season
I'm
of
gonna be
Halloween.
a vampire. Yeah, just the whole entire season. And I'm gonna be a vampire for Halloween. No, I figured I'd talk about this like closer to Halloween,
Okay, yeah, no, we'll bring
So-
it. We'll bring it back up. We'll come back to it.
but it is kind of funny. So, what did you do or learn this week, Alicia?
Well, this week was a little bit quieter. So one of the cool things I did get a chance to do this week that I haven't done before is yesterday I actually made donuts. Jill and
Ooh.
I have been meaning to make donuts forever. She is kind of the a donut connoisseur, having worked at a donut shop
Yeah.
before. And Juji's had some of the donuts at the.
They're really good.
Yeah. From what
Yeah, I think
hear,
I
they're
saw
really
a
good.
picture of it just before we started.
Yeah.
On Facebook.
So the ones her and I made yesterday were pumpkin donuts. And so
Yeah.
she's very particular about pumpkin. It has to be real pumpkin. So she actually goes out of her way and takes an actual pumpkin and bakes it like you would a squash. 'Cause I think pumpkins are technically in the squash family anyhow. And then she'll freeze part of it. So she had some already prepared. So we end up finding a couple recipes that we kind of combined, because I can't have gluten or dairy, obviously. And then we bought a bunch of oil and all the ingredients, and we made a big batch of donuts, and they were fantastic. Second day, they're still good, but not as good.
Yeah.
But I think that kind of comments on how good they were first time around anyhow. Because usually with really good food, a lot of times, second day it's not quite as good.
Yeah.
Well, I think donuts don't last that long as for taste. Like in general.
Wait,
if
they're
you
not
go
good
to,
anymore?
No, they're still good. It's just pretty much
Yeah,
fresh that night.
no.
They're fantastic. And then right now,
But donuts are always better fresh.
yeah, right now what I
in
recommend
general.
is heating them up in the toaster oven, and then kind of have it with a coffee. You can kind of dip it in the coffee and stuff. They're just a little bit drier. I wouldn't want to call it stale because the flavor is still there. It just a little
Yeah.
bit drier. I think might be what I would go with.
All right.
Yeah,
where's
you know
my
what, like,
donut?
What?
Like apple
My
cider
donut,
donuts
where is
are
it?
always super good immediately after they're done made. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah. Esther wants a donut.
Everything's good after you make it.
Well, I have a couple. I will actually still have tons of them, so you'll definitely have to come over sometime soon to grab a couple.
Well, can I come tonight?
Yeah, Elisha, can I come tonight?
Well, Alex, it might take you just a little while. I don't know, Esther. If you came like right afterwards, after the podcast, you're welcome
All
to
right,
come
I'll
over.
do that.
All right.
Well, if they're getting staler by the day, I don't want to wait another.
Yeah, no, Joe was very upset with me because I put them in the fridge. But the reason I did that was they will last me longer that way. They might not be stale, but they'll be drier quicker than if I had left them out of the fridge. But in the long run, they'll last me longer, and I might
Can you
cry
take
if I have
some
to throw
out?
any of these out. So, yeah, well, like when you come over, I'll throw one in the toaster oven.
Thank you.
It'll be delicious.
I will be over soon.
Maybe if you it's late, but if you want, I can make you a little coffee too.
Yay.
Okay. Well, anyhow, now that we've made plans on the podcast, moving on.
You're all invited
Oh, yes.
to Elisha's apartment,
Yes.
10 o'clock tonight.
What the nice thing, the nice thing is.
Yeah, but it's not going to be posted till Wednesday, so.
Exactly. So.
Oh, too bad then.
Whoops.
Too late.
Should have gotten the memo. So.
You have like 10 people show up to your door on Wednesday night.
Yeah. If we were lucky, more like 1 or 2.
It'd be like, Mom, where's my donuts?
Moving on to the next segment, I am going to do a segment we like to call Blank Explains Blank. And this week on Blank Explains Blank, we have Juji explains the plot of Pretty Little Liars.
Oh man. Pretty Little Liars. I've seen like a few episodes of it, but it just changes so much with every episode. That
Yeah,
you can't really tell what's going on.
Exactly. Because I figured you might have seen at least a couple, because Esther used to watch this a lot.
Yeah.
I was
And
like 15, and then they kept going.
yeah, no, they did, and I got stuck watching it a
They
couple
went too
times
far.
because I know I dated 1 or 2 people who liked it, and so I got stuck seeing an episode or 2, and I completely agree with Juji. Like, you'd watch one episode, you're like, oh, all right, yeah, I guess I get where this is going, and then you watch another episode, like, all right, I guess it's now doing this. So I figured it'd be kind of interesting to see if Juji can explain the plot of Pretty Little Liars, and then I guess Esther might be able to answer some questions on this, at least the first like season or 2.
I am not on this train. I have no idea.
So someone or a group of people that go by the letter A decided to basically ruin like these teenage girls' lives.
Wait, is that
Completely.
like anonymous? Like the internet like group? Letter A?
No, it's like well, their,
Nah,
their
that's
friend,
just a
their
joke.
Friend
That's-
died. Their friend died, and her name started with an A. And like, there's just a bunch of crazy things happen to them.
I hear laughter behind you.
Yeah, that's Mom.
Oh my
She
god.
has no respect for us.
Oh right. Oh God. I do not. I do not like Pretty Little Liars.
I can still hear her like, I don't know if the mics are picking this
Is the
up.
door open?
No, it's not. She's just. This house echoes a lot,
Jesus, it sounds like
should I
they're like
wait
right
it
in the
out?
room with you.
or just wait until it's over.
I don't know what's so funny, but
I'm kind of jealous. I'd like to be laughing that hard.
So these girls get into like a bunch of weird situations where sometimes they almost die, and they're being blackmailed, and all these awful things happen to them because of, well, they always like say, oh, this is A, but then they're like, guess what, that's not actually A, this is A, and then they're trying to figure out who's doing all this stuff to them. It's just it's too complicated, and it's not fun.
All right, Esther, do you have anything to weigh in on? Some more insight.
So every season they're like so close to finding out who A is. Mind you, I haven't watched this in years upon years, So I don't even really remember a lot of it. But I do remember that at the end of every season, the whole question, like, they have all these mysteries and all of these romances. And then by the end of the season, they're like, oh, something, like, dramatic happens to them. And it almost reveals this person. And then the person is never revealed. And then the next season starts. So now I'm looking up because
How many seasons were there? They should have stopped at 3.
there were 7 seasons,
Oh my
and the
God.
7th one actually just ended.
It's still on.
And then
Is it all the same original
they have
cast?
another show that's like them when they're older or something now, don't they? Like, I'm pretty sure there's like another show.
I wonder how much time has passed in the universe itself. I mean, 7 years is like,
probably.
you know.
Well, the funny thing is that when the show started, the characters were like sophomores in high school, I think, but they're all like played by like 26-year-olds.
Oh God! So now they're like in their 30s,
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
playing like 20-year-olds. That's funny. Hey, fun fact though, right? We have like 3 degrees of separation between us and one of the cast members,
Actually,
right?
that's true.
Oh,
I almost forgot
right.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because actually not even 3 degrees, because I don't know.
Would that be 2 degrees?
Well-
Either 2 or 3?
Because I got a chance to hang out with Dan, and I wouldn't say we're close friends, but
That's true.
I met
say we're
him, I
friends.
think.
Well,
so.
like, but
I still haven't met Dan or his other son, but
I don't know. You haven't met Dan?
no.
Okay, well, okay, so
Nope.
back up a little bit. So for those listening, we have a close family friend who's actually done a lot for really all of our family. Both him and his wife have given us a lot of different things, kind of helped us on our way throughout high school and college, getting us computers, and really just kind of like an older, generous like uncle or a really young like grandparent almost. Something that we wouldn't otherwise normally have in our life. So both of them are fantastic people, and the husband has 2 kids who are in their, I think, mid-30s. Really nice guys. The older one, Micah, I've only met him a couple times, but really, really smart guy, very talented. And then the younger son, Dan, who is an actor. He's been in plays. He's a singer. Incredible voice. Very talented person as well. And
Is he still in that a cappella group?
No.
Yeah, he was in that. He was in
not
that a
anymore?
cappella group, and they were on TV or whatnot,
Yeah.
right?
He's doing
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff. I think just the other day I was actually talking to his mom, and she was saying he was interviewing for something in New York. So that's really exciting. But anyhow, so I got a chance to hang out with him for a night or two while I was going to Toy Fair in New York a few years back.
Right. Yeah.
So I would consider us, like, we're not like best buddies, but I would consider us friends. I mean, we both kind of got drunk, and like he showed me some in New York, and we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so I think I would consider that 1 degree separation, because Dan dated one of the main characters, one of the actresses from.
And that gives you 1 degree of separation.
No,
that's pretty cool.
I think that's 2 degrees.
That's 2 degrees?
Because you'd have to. 1 degree is knowing them yourself.
Oh. All right, I'll take
Yeah.
it.
Or wouldn't that be 0? I don't know. I don't know.
That's 1. 0 degrees is it's you.
All right. Well, Juji's usually smarter than
You're
me, so
0 degrees to yourself.
I'm the
take
one
on
who
this.
knows me the best.
All right. Fair.
Hold on.
Yep.
Guys, I know who A is.
Oh.
Who's A? We need to know. It's
Alright.
a mystery.
Okay. Well,
All right,
spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Yep. Thank you.
If you, I don't know, are you watching this? You probably aren't watching Pretty Little Liars, but if you are, don't listen to this.
Don't listen to the next 30
Okay,
seconds.
so basically A is, one of the main characters, Spencer. First of all, A has been multiple people because it's like a team of people, but there's like
Oh, see, that's a
the
trick then.
top person. And so the original A or whatever is apparently one of the main characters, Spencer, has an evil twin named Alex.
Oh, of course.
And
Of
that
course.
is it.
They really pulled the evil twin trick, huh?
Yeah, the
Again?
evil twin.
Didn't they already have
It's a
an evil
classic.
twin?
There's multiple evil twins in this show. Honestly, I don't understand. I'm reading about this show. You can't even get a correct summary of it because
Because it makes no sense.
I don't
There's
get
too
it.
much going on. There's like a plot twist every scene.
I actually read the first book.
There's a book too. Is
Yeah.
that
Oh,
what
yeah,
it
there's a
started, or
series.
did they?
It's
It's
Yeah.
it's based off of the book series.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. But it's not accurate to the book at all.
Yeah.
Huh.
They
Well,
kinda
Probably
just
some
took it and-
Hollywood executive like, hey, let's make a TV show out of this, and then they didn't like put any of the good shit in there.
Well, actually, that's what I was about to ask. Is there any good shit in the book? AKA, how was the book?
Oh, I don't know. It was literally like
Was it a picture
I
book?
don't know. It was yeah, picture book. It was really short, easy read. I don't know. I read it when I was like somewhere along my depressed life of high school.
High school or middle school?
Oh, you know what? Maybe it was middle school. It's been out for a while. Yeah, I don't
7
know.
years.
But
so.
I don't know. It was like a copy of the book, but then it had like the printed version of like one of the TV commercial photos on it, and it was
Yeah.
just like very, I don't know. It stuck. It was the first book, so it like stuck pretty much to the plot of the first season of the show, I think.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like an interesting like book to read. It was I don't know, like a typical teen drama.
So for our next segment, we have a listener question from Sam Barchi.
Oh, nice!
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
Yay.
So for those of you out there, Sam is our stepbrother. I mean, in technicality, he's not like legally stepbrother anymore, but after sharing a 3-bedroom apartment with 1 bathroom with 7 kids and 2 adults, yeah, they're always going to be
Yeah.
family. All 3 of our step siblings. So.
Yeah.
But so this one comes from Sam, and he says, "What gets you out of the bed in the morning?"
That's a good one.
Yeah, I thought so as well.
Oh, I just saw a shooting star. Wow.
Oh my gosh, you make a wish?
I don't know. I'm not supposed to tell anybody, right?
Yeah, well, you
No,
could-
you don't
especially-
tell us what the wish is, but did you make a wish?
No, it just happened.
But you
I
forgot.
don't know. Okay, I'm gonna make a wish. I'll save it. I'll make it for later. Anyways,
Alright.
what gets you up in the morning, Juge?
What? Why do I have to go first? I gotta think about this.
You know
what about
gets
you,
me up in the
Esther?
morning? My
What?
alarm.
Ah, damn you! I was gonna make the same lame joke.
Oh.
You beat me to it.
It's real.
Is that even true though? Like out of all of us, is that actually
Yeah.
true? Because I see you get up at like noon. So
Listen, that
yeah.
was the old days.
Actually, I get Esther up in the morning sometimes.
All right.
So what gets us up
I
in the
am
morning is
awake,
Gigi.
but I do wake up like frequently through my alarms because I pretty much have to set an alarm every day because I either have school or I have work.
True. You
So
have now
I wake up at
responsibilities.
pretty
so-
much every day from an alarm.
Sam might mean something a little bit more metaphoric and a little less
Yeah.
literal.
Yeah.
What metaphorically gets you up in the morning, Esther?
Metaphorically,
Yeah, like
food. Just kidding.
I was gonna say the best
Yeah,
part of
you
waking up, folders in your cup, but
I was going on the coffee route too. I was thinking that. I was like, a nice hot cup of coffee.
yeah, I've become a coffee snob
Well,
lately.
I don't drink coffee in the morning, so
Gigi
don't really
wakes
need it.
me up in the
I
morning.
gotta lean off those Keurigs. They're starting to make me sick.
Oh jeez.
Lean off
Oh.
those Keurigs. Why? It's
I don't
not
know.
real coffee. I don't
Are-
know what this.
are you
Yeah,
just
it's
thinking the same
not.
taste
Well,
or something?
have you ever looked inside a Keurig? Because I've
No.
never looked inside to see if it's real coffee that they're pouring out.
Wait, I thought you were
Of
gonna
course,
say
you
you
don't actually
had
know.
and you had something
it's
weird.
instant coffee though, because it's not like actually
Yeah.
coffee grinds.
No,
I don't think.
It brews instant coffee, basically.
Well, wait. What do you mean? What is? Isn't it still coffee grounds on the inside?
Yeah.
well,
It's still coffee.
Probably with
I mean,
added stuff. I think it's the added things that are
there's
probably.
added stuff to it. I don't think it's all coffee grounds.
Yeah.
For me, I started doing French press, and ever since, like, anytime I go back and have a Keurig, like, if I'm, like, super in a rush in the morning, I
Yeah.
kind of regret it. It's coffee flavored water. I'm always
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
disappointed.
Oh.
So, like, I
I'm more of a
actually
tea person.
I actually ground my beans every morning as well and everything.
You know what we picked up the other day? Because we were curious.
I ground my beans.
I
We
told you
wanted.
coffee snow.
Well, this is kind of dumb, but we wanted to try the Death Wish coffee because we keep hearing it on the radio and stuff. And we were like, well, we have a Keurig. Let's just buy the Keurig ones. And I really thought like it was gonna like knock me down. Like I thought I was gonna be like having shakes and stuff because like they talk it up so much. Like, oh, it's so strong. Blah blah. Blah. It was just a regular
Is this
coffee.
a regular dark roast?
I mean, maybe it's because it was the Keurig, but it was
The
just a
dark
regular
roast
old
has
cup of
less
coffee.
caffeine than light
Hey,
what?
roast.
I'm surprised Claudia let you get something coffee related and put it in a Keurig.
No, actually, it was her idea. She wanted the Death Wish.
Well, no, I figured.
But
the
Esther's
Death Wish
Esther's
is
right though. I think we need to make this clear for all of our listeners. Dark roast is not as caffeinated as like a medium roast.
Or a light roast.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is true.
Light, medium, dark.
Dark roast
Simple.
is a bolder flavor. Correct.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes.
And the caffeine difference isn't that much. So, but I mean, if you are like thinking, oh, like in terms of how much caffeine you want, light roast has more.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why decaf coffee doesn't have caffeine, and it actually does have small amounts of caffeine because you can't really take caffeine out of coffee beans.
Yeah.
But the reason why it's decaffeinated is because they roast it so much to the point where they like burn the coffee beans, and they like burn the caffeine out of it, which is why a lot of people also don't like the flavor of decaf coffee because it's basically just burnt coffee.
Yeah. So we
Fun facts.
yeah, we might have diverged
what
a little
gets
bit.
you
but-
guys up in the morning?
Well, since my alarm is taken,
Yeah.
that if we want to get a little bit more metaphoric or a little more depth than coffee or alarms.
Yeah, or going to the bathroom or
Well, I guess actually a bladder as well.
it's another reason to get up.
It often is. I guess, I don't know. These days, because I have to. Just knowing that I have
Just-
to. I got bills to pay, I
Just
got
having a
responsibilities.
schedule, like something to do, something that you have to do,
Well,
gets me up.
Yeah, that too. I also get antsy.
Because I would sleep in if I wasn't going to school.
My extent of sleeping in is maybe like 8 o'clock tops, and even then, typically not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think like during the week, obviously I get up because of an alarm, because I have to go to work, because the sooner I get to work, the sooner I get to go home, the sooner I get to actually do stuff that's fun. But the weekends, yeah, I mean, even when I'm taking a lazy day, I don't know, I want to start my day. There's sunshine out, and it's time to get stuff done.
Wait, so for the record, getting up means getting physically out of bed, right?
I think
Not
that's
like
where
just
we're going.
waking up.
Why?
Because like waking up, I just kind of automatically do that at a random time. Like sometimes I have an alarm set for 8
Mhm.
for like mornings at
sometimes I
school,
wake you
but then
up.
I'll like wake up at 7, and I'll be like, why am I awake? So I'll just stay in bed until the
One
alarm
time
goes
I
off.
woke up at midnight and I started getting ready for school.
Oh,
yeah,
I
I did that.
remember you talking
I've
about
done
that.
that before.
I
at,
think
like,
I was in high
2
school though.
I've done that before at like 2 in the morning because I had a dream that mom woke me up.
Yeah.
Hey.
And then I just started getting ready.
But
and then
here's
I was
the
like,
thing,
wait a
though.
minute, that was a dream.
I
She did
woke
not wake
mom
me
up because I woke up at midnight. I started getting ready for school. I was in the bathroom, washing my face, brushing my teeth. And mom comes in. Like, she walks down the hallway because I hear her door opening, and she's like, her eyes are squinty. She's like, kinda,
I've seen that scene.
like bouncing around. She's like, what are you doing up? And I'm like, I'm getting ready for school.
Yeah.
She's like, it's midnight, Esther. And I like, my heart stopped beating for a second. I was
I
like,
feel
oh my
like
It
I was
messes
awake
me
for
up
that because I
because-
remember that happening.
Oh gosh, it messes me up because like, when you have to get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning for school, in the winter it's dark outside.
Oh, yeah,
so like
yeah.
if you wake up in the middle of the night, it's still dark outside. So you might not, and so you really pay attention to the time. You might not know that it's not time to get up. So then you start getting ready, and you're like, wait a minute, what
I
am
do
I
not
doing?
miss getting up at 6 o'clock to go to school.
I
don't miss that.
I get up at 5 every morning, but which is
Well, you chose the job. So.
yeah, well, I get out earlier that way, but funny story about the waking up.
Well, I like to wake
Too
up to
early thing.
sunlight. So
Well, see,
Really? Because you're a vampire, so.
my thing is that if I wake up at 5 and I get to work early in the morning, it is still dark, yes, and I might see like a little bit of sunlight before I get into work, especially during like winter solstice. But during that time, as long as I head to work early, then I get out much earlier, and there's still a little bit of civil twilight just as I'm leaving. So there's just that little bit of sunlight, and I need that. In the winter, in particular, I need that because my office itself is like deep inside a cement building, no windows or anything.
okay,
So
yeah.
if the sun was ever up, there's no way I would know otherwise. But funny story about the waking up too early thing is that back in high school, for much of high school, Mom was the one who would wake me up. So also on the topic of how do you get up in the morning. But and so one morning she wakes me up. She's like, "Hey, get up! You gotta head off to school." And so I get up, I take my shower, grab a bagel or something, head to the bus stop, and I'm standing there. And then it occurs to me, wow, it's kind of dark out. And so I finally look at the time and say I was supposed to be out at the bus stop at like 6 or something. It was 5. It was like a full hour wrong. It wasn't even remotely near like daylight savings or anything. She just accidentally woke me up an entire hour earlier than I was supposed to be. And that's what I get for not
And
being
nothing's
responsible
worse than
enough
like
to
in the
wake
dead of
myself up.
winter, like being stuck out at that bus stop, wondering like, oh, where's my bus coming?
Oh yeah, no, because
And
then you're
it's
freaking
the-
out. You're
yeah.
thinking you missed the bus because nobody else is there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I've
hate it.
definitely,
I don't miss that.
I definitely had those days where I was like, oh, I'm kind of running late, and I show up and nobody's there. I'm like, all right, well, either everybody else is running late, or I've missed the bus today. And there's been times where I've missed the bus. There's been times where I had to chase after the bus. I remember one
Did
morning.
you miss the bus once, or twice, or 3 times? And then
I missed it once.
Well, I know because remember you were running after it.
Oh
that
yeah,
one
I did
time.
once before too. I was
'Cause-
like in pirate costume with like boots falling off because I hadn't finished tying them, and I had a bagel in my
Oh,
hand.
well,
Yeah, I was like, my sister's
see,
right behind.
By
She's
missing
running
it
after.
once, there was only one time where I was late to school because of missing the bus. I think I don't really remember the other times I missed the bus, but there was one time that I was like late to school because Mom couldn't take me for a while, and then so I was like a half hour later, maybe an hour. I don't know.
There goes the perfect attendance ward.
No, I didn't have that anyways.
I had a perfect attendance one time. I still have the certificate for it. It's great.
So proud of you,
About it all the
Esther.
time.
You better pull that out for proof
That wakes
because
me
I don't
up in the
trust you.
morning.
I wake up and
You
look
you
at
get
that.
out of bed, you look over at your framed ward.
Afraid perfect attendance on the wall.
You
from,
like dust it
6
off
years ago.
and smile.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a good day.
I don't know. Recently, what's been getting me up in the morning is just I don't know, like responsibility and stuff like that, with like getting the dog walked and stuff like that. I don't know. Like more recently, it's been less about the camp, more about like people coming and stuff like that. It's been really kind of exciting me about the week, knowing that someone's
Yeah,
coming over for the
having
weekend.
people visiting.
Do you get lonely?
It does get lonely. Yeah. That's why you need like podcasts or stuff. Because like music was good for a while and it kind of got boring after a while. Like if you're working, music's fine. But when you're just spending a lot of time like alone, it does get sort of like where you kind of want somebody or something to be talking or like conversation or something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I kind of fell into the podcast boat. With that, because it was just like easier to like, oh, well, here's like people talking, and it makes it more, you know what I mean? Because there aren't any like good radio stations for that around here, you know.
Yeah, no.
Plus, I don't even have a radio, which is so weird. I don't have just like a regular radio.
That is kind of weird. I mean, it's not in that, I don't know, that just kind of is pretty commonplace these days, but just actually thinking about that, given like how much as like a kid I would listen to the radio, and even as a teen I would listen to the radio all the time, and then to just kind of not really ever think about it much more. But yeah, I do the same thing with podcasts, because like I have just an apartment by myself, no roommates or anything, so there's like plenty of times where I'm just kind of like hanging out doing dishes or something, and I listen to a lot of music, but I don't know, sometimes you want like a podcast. You want kind of not even necessarily that I'm lonely. It's just it's kind of fits the mood a little bit better.
Speaking of podcasts, this one's nearing its end.
It certainly
It sure is.
So
For today.
as
For
Esther,
a second, I was just like, "What are you talking about?" Like, we're still doing
No,
this
we're
every
still
week.
here. Don't worry, guys. We're never leaving you.
Yeah, don't worry. We might have been late one week, but you, in addition to getting 2 episodes today, or Wednesday when this one comes out, we will be back on our normal schedule next week as well, as long as everybody gives their audio files to Juji on time.
Wink.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, nudge,
Hint,
nudge, hint,
hint.
hint. But without
Hint,
further
nudge.
ado,
Cough.
thanks to our 2 listeners, our mom and Uncle Richie, for listening in. Esther, you
Oh,
want...
and Marseille.
Oh, and yes, do you know what? Thanks to Marseille for listening in.
We never give her a shout out.
Well, thank you for
Except
giving
that
her a
time
shout out
that
this time.
we're business.
Well, yeah.
All right.
Um,
Anyways,
So, Esther, you want to let the folks at home know where they can find us and how they can send in listener questions and suggestions?
you can find us on Twitter at Pirate Wednesday without the S, Instagram Pirate Wednesdays, Facebook Pirate Wednesdays, YouTube Pirate Wednesdays, and you can contact us at piratewednesdays@gmail.com. You can leave listener questions at on iTunes and Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere. And don't forget to rate and subscribe.
On iTunes. Cool.
iTunes.
Normally at the end of this podcast, I like promoting stuff. I know, I was going to say last week, but last week's episode that's coming out this Wednesday, as well as this one, I don't actually have anything current to promote, so I might cycle back through some of the other people I've already promoted in future weeks if I don't get some other things. But please feel free to contact us either through the Gmail or Twitter or smoke signals. If you have something, or if you have a friend who has something that they would like to promote, any sort of creative endeavor, whether you have a friend that knits sweaters or a friend who does performance art, I just want to be able to take this opportunity to give them a little bit more of a nudge, even if it's just to 1 or 2 people. But I think that's important to kind of pay it forward a bit. Yeah, so for this week, Jude, do you want to sign us off?
Don't forget to shave your belly with a rusty razor.